King of the Pit Media, where we talk. Well, I say we talk. You hear me ramble and rave about the be-alls and end-alls of alternate music, to say the least. I'm going to talk to you about a record you've probably never heard before. If you're interested in metal, you've probably never heard of this record. I'm going to talk to you about the album Reign in Blood by a band called Slayer, yeah? And you might think, who's this guy and why is he going to talk about Slayer? Well, trust me, I'm going to open up a can of worms. I've been listening to this record a couple of times to formulate some opinions, and I'm going to put forward to you everything that needs to be known about this particular record. And if you want to engage, if you want to communicate, if you want to go against me or go with me in relation to these opinions, I would adore for you to do so. So leave a comment down below. Let's discuss music. Let's discuss the music we love or loathe. I'm going to talk to you about, is it the third record by Slayer? We got, or the third LP, let's say. We got the debut. We got Hell Awaits. And then we got Reign in Blood. Alright? Not a historian here. Reign in Blood released in 86. Am I wrong or right? You tell me. Alright? This album is a bit radgy. Let me relieve myself. Let me express myself. Let me allow myself to become understood. Not overstood, but understood. This album's a bit radgy. We got... How many tracks have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is Aggressive Perfector on the original? Because I've been listening to the expanded version. And we've got Aggressive Perfector, which I believe is a cover, right? But a cover done in a manner that is so Slayer that initially, when I was younger and I heard this record, I thought it was a Slayer number anyway. And we've got the remix to Criminally Insane, which is trash! It's trash! It's crap! Get rid of the remix to Criminally Insane. Shit. Load of shit. I'm going to argue 10 tracks, disregarding the cover, disregarding the bonus material, the remix. We've got an album that is no more than 30 minutes. We're sub 30 minutes. So whereas the people call it thrash, the big four of thrash, I'm going to chuck out my first opinion. I'm going to chuck out my first hot take and say this isn't a thrash record. As much as it is a hardcore punk record, as much as it is a death metal record. Whoa! You can't say that. I can. Because I identify the seeds, the essence, the spirit, and the collaboration of those forces within this particular record. Done to a degree that is so ahead of its time. It's unfathomable. It's creativity in its more pristine form as far as metal is concerned, in my personal opinion. It's a metal band with a metal record that stands the test of time in 2025 in relation to what we're hearing nowadays. And it will do in 2030 and 2035, given we're not blown to smithereens. Yeah? We're starting off with Angel of Death. Angel of Death is the Wonderwall of the Slayer catalogue. It's an instant skip from me, but we're going to talk about it. It's a long-form track, which surprisingly enough, the successful tunes on this number, Angel of Death, Raining Blood, longer form tunes. The people want a little more substance. The people want space for Slayer to develop. The people want Slayer to incorporate a few more ideas, showcase a little more songwriting capability. They want metal. The metalheads want metal. The metal fan base is tenfold the hardcore punk fan base. We want longer form. We want substance. We want space to formulate an opinion. Whereas in between there, we're looking at blazing fast, blazing speed, aggression, in your face, tupper, 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 skank beats, tremolo picking, peppered vocals. That's the shit I want to hear. So, Angel of Death, it's a bit long-winded. Is it a great tune? Yeah. Let me talk to you about a riff on that track. That planted the seed of metalcore to come. There's an act, Stamping Ground, UK hardcore band, crossover fresh. If you like Slayer, you're gonna like Stamping Ground for one reason or another. From what I'm aware, I'm not very well versed in this act. Their lead song, Officer Down, like the one that people get gassed about in their discography, it's Slayer worship. It's that riff. And then moving onwards, any act can't execute that riff like Slayer did, but they try. The energy, the spirit, the ghost, the paranormal entity of that song exists, resides, and spreads itself within the metalcore to come. This album contains that which I adore the most about death metal. And you might think, what you want about death metal? Single line, single note, tremolo pick riffs. What is it? Prior to Raining Blood, we've got Postmortem. We've got the outro / secret track to Postmortem that leads into Raining Blood. Tupper, tupper, tupper. If it was power chords as opposed to single line picking, it'd be a hardcore punk number. Have you seen how we entwine the energy and the spirit of everything that was in 86 within this record regarding extremity? And you might say, well, what about black metal? Come on. Who's doing the devil better than Slayer? Are you seeing where I'm coming from? Am I right or am I right, people? Let's continue talking about this record. Let's open discussion. If you want to talk, I'm more than happy to talk. This is a great place. Music is an objective wonderland. It's a subjective wonderland. What am I saying? I need to hit up the dictionary. So, let's have a look at the track listing. We've got Piece by Piece. Starts off a bit juttery and buttery. Diddler, diddler. No. Get to the fast. There's a few slower, jerky moments on the record, which are sub-optimal. But in the case of Jesus Saves, especially when you flow it in from what comes prior, the impact and the emphasis of the slower sections of the mid-tempo riffs are just overemphasized by the natural energy and extremity of the speed of the record. I couldn't find it on YouTube. I don't know where it's gone. When Jeff Hanneman passed, Power Trip, the thrash metal band, covered Jesus Saves, and I think they did a medley, if you consider two songs in one a medley. They did Jesus Saves and they flowed it into another Slayer number off of the same record. And it was great to see it depicted in a, relatively DIY, small-scale, hardcore environment. Great energy, great emphasis, great projection of the magic that is within that riffage. Moving on. In my experience listening to the record, I paid attention to the track Raining Blood. I must have played Raining Blood 20,000 times on Guitar Hero back in the day. Raining Blood is just one of those metal tunes. Raining Blood is Enter Sandman. Raining Blood is Master of Puppets. Raining Blood is flipping Holy War's The Punishment Due. It's just Raining Blood, right? And it becomes background noise. It just becomes... If Angel of Death is Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger is Raining Blood. And then you pay attention to the track. And you listen to how defined it is on this record in relation to the rest of the music. Everything is smashing. Everything is pristine. Everything is blazing. Everything is precise. Everything comes with a degree of intensity that you can, as I say, parallel to the music of today, if not above and beyond, still to this day. It's not about the theatrics of who can blast beat the fast and have the most overt production and do the best sweeps. There's an intensity on this record which reaches the boundary of what is acceptable and doesn't go past there. Because if we go past, we become novelty, we become noisy, we become too excessive. That's not the case on this project. And Raining Blood, I paid attention to today. The introductory riff, which we've all heard before. Anyone who's picked up a guitar and wanted to play metal guitar has tried to play the riff to Raining Blood, which in its own way is surprisingly complicated, you know, as far as the fingering is concerned. A little bit of a tight space to noodle around from what I remember. It's ignorant. It's metalcore. And then you got the gallops, you got the triplets, or whichever one of the two it is. Compare and contrast that to what we've had prior in the record. It separates itself. This is an entity all in itself. And then, of course, we've got the thrash bit. Just a lot of noodling, a lot of noise. Arguably hardcore punk in the spirit that it's noisy. The middle ground, the verse. Standard. And then your time slips. And there's a lot of discussion in relation to what's the first breakdown, and people talk about all these different elements of breakdowns. Well, this is the first breakdown, like as far as like a hardcore E-chug breakdown. Bruh, Slayer's doing this in 86. It's crazy, it's ahead of its time, it's insane. It's insane. Honestly, it's not my favourite Slayer record because it's a bit polished for me. I like the dinginess and the grit of Hell Awaits. I like the mid-tempo stompy riffage of the two albums that come after. But this record, to me, is just the forefront of such a amazing movement of extreme music from there until now, till tomorrow, that it needs its flowers, not out of a sake of it's a novelty and oh yeah, it's Nirvana's Nevermind, yeah, no. What that sound is it creeps into what I hear in the music I adore and love. Were they influenced by Axe? Yeah, of course, they were influenced by hardcore punk. Hanneman was influenced by a lot of hardcore punk. He represented Dead Kennedy's logo, didn't he, on his guitar and whatnot. And I re-clarify, I'm not a historian. I've not looked into the history of Slayer. I've not got all of their albums, like all of their records across my walls and stuff like that. I don't care for stuff like that. But I'm expressing an opinion in relation to the spiritual essence of the record and the creative value that has created, in my opinion, 90s European metalcore, which led into the 2000s blow up, We got Bullet for My Valentine's Parkway and all that. You can't have 2000s metalcore without 90s metalcore. Death metal with the tremolo picking madness. Anything to do with the devil. You can talk about all of your King Diamonds, all this, oh, well, they've all done it all before. No one's done it better than Slayer. I had a shirt back in the day, yeah. It was hard. I want it again. It was the Show No Mercy. Not in a square, not boxed off. Just the Minotaur with the logo, Slayer. Black shirt with the print of the Minotaur and the Slayer logo, which arguably might be the hardest Slayer logo. The cross swords in the inverted pentagram with Slayer across. And it had on the back like Slayer Live 1980 something, right? I want that shirt back. That was hard. And on that note, I'm signing out, people. I got to give you one love on that one. Peace.